Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I have a fantastic rack. I have the blank and I have bingos, and I've seen minuend, which duplicates the N and gets the M doubled, so I'm minded to play it rather than looking for something better. Wow, a bit of a different rack, definitely non-bingo-y, and I can see that X-ray would sort it out in terms of splitting up the duplicates and playing off one of the high-scoring tiles. I also have Jaxie on my rack, which would leave double R, not terrible. So, do any of these play? Not sure they do. Well, certainly not in a spot which scores very much. I do need to play off one of the Ys, at least. Just wondering if Jaxie is spelt only with I-E. Not totally sure about that. But in any event, a great start with a bingo. Only happens about one game in 7. So, supposing opponent changes, what would I do? Well, I have Nixie. I think playing off the X or the J and one of the Ys is the minimum requirement. Nixie certainly achieves that and scores about 30 points. I do not have Nixie, I do not have an I. Okay, Zoo is good. Can't see a way of using that to good effect. Opponent taking a while with his opening play. Minuend takes an S. That would have been one argument for spending longer looking for a better opening bingo. Well, opponent provides nothing, which is slightly frustrating. I was hoping there may be something I could use to score. So, what to do? Was takes nothing before or after. I'm not playing X-ray and my absolute gift of the axe in column 1, and only about 20 points. Well, I could play Yay, getting rid of both Ys and not giving terribly much away and scoring over 20 points. Is there something better? It would be nice to hang on to the vowels. The vowel, do I have anything through the I? Anything at all? I've seen Nixie, but that doesn't get doubled. Let me put this back. What about playing Jinx? For 32, that looks better. I'm going with this. Well, not great. Quite away from a bingo, but I think Jinx. Look at the tiles I was able to play, J, Y, and X. Good to see those on the board. Good to get over 30 points. And this isn't gifting opponent easy options to score. Wow, lovely bingo by opponent. Just 3 points separating us. So, what to do here? I have Ariari on my rack, leaving the U. Nowhere for that, so Sati takes an S. So I could play Ariari through the I. But that does leave the U, and the U is the problem tile on my rack. So what about playing RU here? 20 points, an okay score. I'm not going to get much more than that. And this rack leave is reasonable, goes well with the floating M and E on the board. I am going with this. So, do I have anything through the E? Not sure I do. Nothing's leapt to mind. Will be an annoying miss if there is something there. Now through a U, I think I would have per trade. What about the floating A, I, and M? Not looking good. Well, this is a half-decent rack, and I have the P for score, so I should have options available. Still one blank to come. What would a bingo through this E look like? So pirated plus an R. No, I'm really not seeing anything through that. And I don't think the other vowels, which duplicate ones I have, are helpful. So, supposing the board remains as it is, what do I do? P and R have to go. P for score, R because it's a duplicate. And I'm looking around the E of Sosati. It helps me, but it helps opponent as well. So I'd much rather be keeping the board tight than playing catch-up after opponent bingos. RU takes nothing in front. Not seeing anywhere great for the P. I thought I might have rip either side of minuends, but I don't. I could play off more tiles. Maybe something like Drapier. Still 3 S's to come, so that might be a little reckless. P doesn't go to the right of Sosati. Now I have a T for just. So I could play party. That's quite nice. That's the best I've seen so far. 27 points. And fairly disguised. I think there are plenty of options to score around the board. Now Juice takes a G in front, which my player party would stop, but as the board stands, a 6-letter play ending in G is playable. Or an 8-letter play ending GEE, heavens forfend. Still looking at the board in case I have a bingo that I've overlooked. But it has not come to mind. And I think it's only the U as a floater which would assist, and I have some doubts about per trade. Opponent again taking a while with his move. He's used up 3 more minutes than I have. But quite a critical stage. He trails by 20 odd points and he's on turn. Zax and Zex are good, so column 8 available for a play. Well, yeah, a play coming down from the E. It would be difficult to score off the W and Y as well, because that would require, well, either a vowel or an H. So HEA would be a big, big score. And the H's are still to come. Well, that's another reason for playing party. It's 5 tiles, increases my chances of drawing an H and the blank or an S. Okay, I was just about to comment on my opponent's tardiness, but he has played. Well, the E is nothing new, so I've considered that. What is new is access to row O. B, not massively dangerous. I'm minded to stick to the plan. Party for 27. Well, pretty good. Could well be something here. Looks super close to a bingo, but do I have one? And I did have one in mind with a floater that's not available. That's eluded me. I don't think I have anything with the B, but as in a bingo with the B, but I can certainly play Barp or Brap. No H. No G. Ah, well, the G no longer useful because Party has taken out that hook. Wow, opponent did have an H. Maybe he didn't have an A or E. And I may have stopped him playing hiving in column 8 if he had another I. So, Barp remains available. New floaters. N. Pandard, I think, was the word I considered, which would need a floating D and may not be good. So, not seeing anything with the N. How about the G? Nope, not seeing anything there. Now, okay, I was saying thinking through an I would have Pindari, but I would need slightly different vowels for that. Barp for 24. Board suddenly tying up a bit in terms of bingo lanes. E of Fee pretty useful and R of Barp, but apart from that it's slim pickings. Fortunately, we are very close and Dean is a decent rack leave. Is this best? Only 24 points. I am going with it. Wow, what a pick. That looks super close to a bingo. I have Aniseed as a 7. Anywhere for that. I think Hivings is good, in which case Aniseed plays. Now, what about a bingo playable elsewhere? Floating A, floating E, floating R. What does this rack make with an R? Wow, that would... Drysine, Nearside, Arsenide and Deneries. Do any of those end in an R? Arsenide, Deneries, Drysine. And what was the fourth one? Nearside. Well, none of them do. What about the floating N? Not seeing anything there. How about the G? Just wondering about agonized, which I think is good but doesn't fit. So, any other lanes? The P in last place doesn't look useful. M could end vowel M or SM. So, D mains. Wow, fantastic. Well, fantastic if Hivings is good. Do I have anything else? Well, ABBA is good, so Aniseed is playable in 2 different spots. But does this G assist? Well, Agonized was the play I saw, but is there an alternative bingo with the G? Especially one ending GED. And I don't think there is. This is a better spot for Aniseed. Is it? Well, it's got to be if it's good, because column 14 is only face value. Not good. Wow, what a stroke of good fortune then about ABBA. And I don't think Aniseed has an anagram. So there we go, Aniseed for 69. And I draw 5 vowels, which is not good, but I have a 60-point lead. And a couple of hot spots on the board, arguably row A and certainly column 15. I hope there wasn't a better better play than aniseed. I simply couldn't see anything else. Now, annoyingly, the G replicates the consonant in row A, which limits its utility. I have a gog, but that doesn't leave a balanced rack. I have togi through that, which does. Yeah, that leaves age, which is quite balanced. Only 2 A's to come. Look at this, UU, V and W still in the bag. And only 36 tiles left, but they include a blank and an S. So I have the AGE ending. Could there possibly be a bingo here? G and N look like the promising floaters. Not seeing anything there. So what if opponent plays at the top? What do I play in column 15? Not very much, because my G cannot go in column 15, so it would have to be the T. Yeah, I would have... Wow, what a bingo for opponent. 80 points. Maybe that's why he played glob, because he had the blank. So I now trail by 20. And lots of hot spots on the board. Let me see what Toa scores. That's 24 with a decent rack lead. Togi is the same tiles for only 21, and this is more dangerous. What about playing in row O? What would I play there? Let me put this back momentarily. There could be a 30-point play here. O or T under the S. No, not seeing anything, and I don't think column 8 is going to be particularly well scoring. One problem about Toa is that it leaves a G which replicates this G in the top row, so if opponent takes the triple word square at the bottom, I may struggle to score at the top. I am going with this. Not good. More duplicate vowels and the V. Do I have anything with the V in row A? Abba takes a C and an S. Still 2 C's to come. Well, Toa may have blocked opponent from playing a 5-letter C play. This is going to be a tricky, very tricky move to play through. And look at this, just 1 point between us. My natural instinct is to play off V and G, but it's going to be a struggle to do that and eat into the vowels on my rack. And I'm not a fan of retaining either G or V. Although 2 G's have gone, they're both in the open as floaters. Now, I have agave on my rack. I think it's shiving rather than hivings, but that row F is not a bingo lane. Not seeing anywhere to play agave apart from through this G, but maybe that's the play. AGAVE might scrape to 20 points. Yeah, just 20. Sorts out the duplicates, gets rid of the V, providing plenty of room for the U's and the W. Now, I haven't had an H, but this row, well, they've both been played. Opponents had both of them. But column 8 remains available. So I could play Eve and Zex, playing off AVE. That might be worth doing. 26 points, decent score. So 6 more points than agave. However, it plays off 1 fewer vowel. Great bingo by opponent, koshered. Credit to him for that. Good spot. I would have voyage through a Y. Opponent again taking a while with this play. He's playing a lot slower than me this game. But it's a very tight game. What about a play in column 4? Well, I have Goa. Not particularly great score. Now, opponent's blocked a gave. E remains available. Opponent did have the C for a back. No H's left, so I wonder if opponent was short on vowels. Let me check the remaining vowels. 12 out of 30, so yes, it's vowel dry. Still 3 O's to come. This is what I'm thinking of. 26 points, that's not bad. Yeah, I am minded to play this. Or am I? Am I missing something better? One of the reasons for playing E was to stop opponent putting a big tile on this double letter square. Well, that danger has gone away. Well, I guess the shortage of vowels makes row A less dangerous. I'm not duplicating any vowels and only 1 A and 2 E's to come. It's the 3 O's which is a problem. I certainly would like to play off an O. Just can't see a way of doing that. I am going with this. I do draw another O and an I. So maybe opponent is short on vowels. Mock was an interesting play. I wonder what 5 tiles he kept. It would be nice to have that final C for column 15. That would be an easy 30 points. Wow, close to agiotage, but I'd need an A, not an O. But this is an obvious spot to play. I could play Goo, 12 points, killing the C danger, and row A. And this board would suddenly become jolly tight. I guess the H and W is still available for a column 6 play. I have Goa. Still 2 O's to come, so I'd quite like to get rid of the O's. This is such a close game. Just 17 points between us, and the end game approach is just 20 tiles in the bag. And opponent fairly short on time. I expect he'll pick up the pace a bit. Will he open the board up? And what's going to be the impact of the Q? Still 2 U's to come, so row J is a possibility for Quay. But opponent would need the solitary A to achieve that. It may be worth hanging on to the A. Wow, column 4 is available. Was available for a QU blank play. So great, only 8 points for opponent. Again, he's played off 3 consonants. Well, what about agio here? 18 points. It's 6 more points than Goo, which is I think is important when we're this close. It's a 5-letter play would open up a new bingo lane. I don't want to do that. I think this is just going to be a tight battle to the end. I'm going with this. Wow, I draw both U's. Is opponent still drawing consonants? So I play off 3 vowels, and I've still got 4 vowels on my rack, and it's a vowel dry bag. 8 vowels out of 21, so it's not massively dry. I have the out prefix, but out urge, not good. Certainly a bingo would be fairly deadly, but it's unlikely. The board is tight, and there's the F, Q, and W to hamper bingo prospects. Now, row O I didn't give proper consideration to, because although the C prevents vertical plays, one can still play horizontally, so I could have played coup. 23 points. What about playing their next turn? Well, it would have to end OCT. Wow, I wonder if I should have given more thought to that. Well, what about a play beginning CO? Nope, not seeing anything there. So I'm about 30 points in the lead, slightly less. And I have no scoring tiles. Now, I do want to play off a U, so I could play Lauer. Interesting, doesn't give much away. Tightens the board up. Opponent unlikely to play in row O because it would require vowels to be played. Opponent stops that point. Now, Lang takes an A in front. Does it take anything that opponent's got, or that remains unplayed? It takes an S. That's why opponent's done that. What do I do about it? I was thinking Guru played, but LU not good. Wow, if only I'd kept that A. I wanted to keep it for the Q, and that would have been jolly useful. I do have to play here. But what? So what about playing glue? Only 10 points. Do I stick an R on the end of that? I think I will. 12 points. What goes in front of the G? Well, the U does, but nothing else. So this is a selfish hook. Let me put this back. What about glout rather than glue? I think that's better. Putting the R there enables opponents to put an F or a W at the beginning. This is much harder to score in row O. I am going with this. And I draw the Q. I do have the U. Ordinarily that would be a cause for joy. But do I actually have anywhere playable? Well, I have QI. It's just 7 tiles in the bag, and they are bingo-y. It would be brutal if opponent had a bingo in row D onto this A. Can I hang on? 30 points ahead. Where am I going to play my Q? What about onto this N? Wow, I have Quinn, but H-I-W not good, so it'd have to be H-E-W. And that just doesn't work. I don't have anything in column 1 because I need the U for the Q. Do I have, well, anything beginning with the Q in row D is going to provide a bingo hook because of the I's that remain. What is opponent going to do? Is he going to open a new bingo lane, maybe by playing in row G? Very tricky to respond with this rack. Onto an E, I would have require. Just not seeing any Q spots. Well, what about QUA? I think that's the play, because although Q takes an I, not many bingos end in I, and that would be over 20 points. And a rack leave of wirer keeps vowels, keeps W for score. No A's for front hooking qua. Okay, so I like that. So what's opponent got up his sleeve? Great, he has not created a new lane. Fantastic. And he's burnt an E. He's actually taken out a lane, column 6. 5 tiles left. Hugh takes an S, so column 4 available for ism words. Well, hats off to opponent if he's set that up. Qua 422. Pretty bingo-y tiles remaining, and my lead just 28 points. Through an E, I would have Toweria. Column 1, not available, nothing front hooks G that's left. Not seeing any ism words in column 4, but if opponent has one, maybe he'll stick an E in the open. Just 3 tiles left. I don't have a 7-letter bingo. Okay, OU takes an S. Interesting. That is going to be very difficult for me to take out, I think. A bingo for opponent would certainly win. I have 7 minutes to try and think about something. So, do I have anything which goes in front of OU? This is interesting. I don't. Wow. So, do I have any way at all of blocking that? I don't think I do. So what do I do? Maybe play off just one tile here for 20 points, and then if opponent bingos in row B, well, there's no bingo lanes. The floaters he provides are not bingo floaters. I think he wins, but does he win? Supposing he's got the best possible rack. Well, without the best possible rack, he could have dinners, which would do the job for him. I suppose although he's not creating floaters in for vertical bingos, if he does bingo in row B, there will be bingo lanes for 7-letter bingos in rows A and C, and this isn't a terrible 6-letter set. So I think this is the right thing, playing the W. Is there any better spot for it? I don't think so. So or for 20. And I draw an I, which isn't great. Dinners is still available. Dinnels, that's nice. But more annoyingly, I don't think I have a bingo with this rack. Wow, that was such a nice play by opponent OU, because L and S both go in front of OU. I trail by 20. What can opponent do with his R? Possibly not very much. He can play it. He's got row. So, can I score 30 points? What's the most I've got in row A? So, what does Torii score? Only 21. That's not enough. What about a play running over the top? Lou takes nothing that I've got. This is the problem. I do not have a constant which goes in front of the I, so I simply don't have a row A play. My T goes underneath the I, but then the play doesn't get tripled, it only gets doubled. This is not looking good. What am I missing? I just need 30 points. Or possibly 30 plus something. So my final pick was a vowel. It may have made a difference. Well, the R was in the bag. I don't think replacing an I with an R would have improved what I can do here. Well, I would have had Rortia, but nowhere to play it. So I've considered rows A and C, nothing winning there. Definitely nothing goes in front of the G. What about playing through this C? I haven't seen anything yet. So the T or the O would go... Let me try. I have 3 minutes. I might as well consider the options. That's not going to go any further. And nothing begins like that. So what about ict? Score's getting close. If only it could stretch one more tile. And all of my vowels go underneath the H. Let me put this back and try oct. Two minutes on my clock. Let me put this back. So OC. Okay, let me just think about this. Well, I have IC. Do I have Ricea? Hey, what about Ricea? Well, it's certainly good, and it's 40 points. Wow, let me just check this. This is all good. Tricea isn't good. 2 minutes on my clock still. This is 40. This would take me to 408. I would lead by 20. Opponent would need 16 to draw. Can he do that with an R? I've got 2 minutes, so I don't need to rush this. I think that this is the best I can do, so even if the opponent has got it, it's not really going to alter my decision. Where can his eye at 6 for ref? That's nowhere near enough. I think this does the job. Ricea for 40. Wow. I almost loosened my jacket then. So, wow, I just totally didn't expect that. I would have been absolutely galling if I'd missed that. Imagine. So, opponent's got, well, fortunately, only 30 seconds before I find out if opponent does have some monster winning play that I've overlooked. Hopefully he doesn't. That was so nearly missed. Even when I was considering it, I almost didn't consider both I's. I was considering I, O, and T in various combos, but not the duplicate I until I did consider it. That's it. Fantastic. And the final score, 398 for my opponent, 408 for me, a winning margin of 10 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, I thought I was dead and buried there. I nearly didn't consider row O at all. Now, let's see if it needed to be that close. So it was me to go first. I played Minuend, which will be down here somewhere. Lumind would have been better because it doesn't take any hooks. All of these plays score the same. Opponent's rack. Interesting. Great play by him here. Playing was keeping a fabulous 5-letter set. Yeah, and that's better than the other options on shown here because the rack lead is so strong. Now my rack, and I played Jinx. Jaxie is good, playable at I1, but that's sticking the J in column 1, so I think Jinx is the play, retaining the vowel as well. Fabulous spot by opponent of Sosati. And now look at this, 3 points between us, and this pretty much remains the case for the entirety of the game. So I play IU for 20. Opponent plays Phoebe. Phew, I thought that was a missed bingo. It wasn't. I play Party, which doesn't appear here. 27 points. N10 Terrier. Okay, I don't like all that. Diptera N8. Well, these plays are just opening access to triple word squares. Party doesn't, and it's only 5 fewer points. Horrible rack for opponent plays Hiving. And this looked promising, but no bingo. What do? I play Barp for 24. which is a long way off the best. G8. Ah, rye is good. Wow. Okay, and that probably is a better play because this B in the middle of row O simply isn't that dangerous. Just looking at opponent's rack, because of course he does have bird. He has jailbird. Wow. Okay, so having said the B isn't dangerous, opponent is sitting there with a triple. Now, opponent's rack, no playable bingo, plays glob. And I play aniseed, and there was a bingo through the N, add a nines, but 10 more points for aniseed. Opponent's rack, and look at this, absolutely fantastic spot. This rack doesn't look that great, but opponent spots the only playable bingo. Now, 20 points between us, my rack, and I played Toa for 24, a Taj, 15H. Ah, yeah, that probably would have been worth doing, again in column 15, and getting rid of one more vowel, one more consonant, but a bigger score as well by 8 points. Wow, this is what opponent was facing, 7 consonants, pretty grim. Plays mock, and you notice their chiving is good, and that tells me that shiving isn't, because I think hiving has only one front hook, and I struggle to remember it. Now, opponent's got no vowels, I've got a ton, and I play E for 26, but gavage L1, opening column 1, not a fan of that, so I'm happy with my play. Opponent's still struggling with vowels, plays clit, and now I have this rack. What do? I play Agio for 18. Octa, I think, would have been a better play. And I think at this stage I didn't actually consider row O. Fortunately, I had the vision to leave row O alone. Now, opponent's rack plays Lang. And this is, well, this changed the course of the game because it made me realise opponent had the S. Did he? He did. And a bingo would be enough for him because there's hardly anything between us, and I didn't have a promising rack. So what I do here is play glout to take out that bingo danger. So although other moves score more, I think that was absolutely essential. Opponent's rack plays fen. Now I have the Q, and I play qua. L15. Quep onto the P. Interesting. Should I have done that? Possibly. This A is not dangerous in last place, looking at the remaining tiles. Just not dangerous. So I think Quep would have been a better play. Not a huge amount between them. Wow, opponent has Donnies. Nowhere for that. Plays OU, which was super play. I can't do anything about that. M1, woe, coming down the column, but that empties the bag and opponent's bingo wins. So it's definitely best to leave one in the bag, and there's only one way of doing that, which is to play off one tile. It has to be the W, and this scored the most. And here we go. I thought it was all over. Opponent plays Dinnels for 65. But here we go. Ricea for 40. Other winning plays, probably Icier, but I think that's it. I think anything else, opponent catches me. So, delighted to have spotted that. So often at the end, you're looking for a winning play and it just isn't there. And on this occasion, it was there and I nearly missed it, but fortunately got there in the end. And I think that's partly because I had left myself enough time, not deliberately, that's just the way it pans out. Opponent used all his time, and of course opponent's time is my thinking time as well, so I was able to benefit from that. And finally, opponent plays Row for 6. Well, this has been a super long video, but hopefully worth hanging around for and worth watching. So many thanks to my opponent for an amazing battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.